guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here for another one of our projects revisited from 2020, and another project that I did that I absolutely loved, you know, that fitted into one video, was my canvases. I think I did a couple of canvases on film, and I used the paper dolls again. So what I've got here are some much smaller canvases. I did quite large ones last time. I can't remember what size they were, but they were quite large. So I'm just going to measure this and tell you what measurements this is. I think it's like 7 inches by, 7 by 5. So much smaller. And these are the canvas boards. So they're kind of flat. They're not a raised, you know, canvas. And I recently had received some napkins, or I was lucky enough to receive these lovely napkins in Happy Mail. And as soon as I saw this napkin, I thought, oh, canvas. It just, for some reason, that just, yeah. My mind was just straight away, oh, canvas. That just lends itself to a canvas. So I'm going to attempt to do one of these. I've actually brought 2 along because I thought, well, they're only tiny. Might be able to actually do 2. So just going to cut the napkin down, and I'm going to do, cut the napkin down to do 2. So fingers crossed, these are going to go okay. So I'm going to go onto the back now, as per that little trick that, you know, I'm pretty rubbish at doing, to take my backing off of the napkin. So hold on, whoops. I'll shut my sellotape in the drawer. Okay, so we just want to put that on there to take the back layer off, and then on again to take that next layer off. I must admit, that does make life so much easier. And yeah, I just generally don't very often remember to do this, but I'm trying to be a bit more efficient. So, okay. Is that gonna... Okay, right, looking good. So we just separate those out like that. So we're just peeling the napkin off. Now, of course, you've probably, you know, seen me do the decoupage before, so nothing kind of interesting going on here. But I'm just going to take my brush and my Mod Podge here. Now, I've got to confess, I normally water my Mod Podge down a little bit for decoupage, but this is a new Mod Podge and I just haven't had a chance to water it down. So it's just going to be a kind of fingers crossed kind of scenario here. You know, going for it in its normal thick, you know, thicker state that you buy it in. So I'm just going to go right over the canvas with the Mod Podge. My brush, as you can probably hear, it's pretty stiff. It needs some conditioner. Needs a deep conditioning treatment, I think. But hopefully it's going to be, you know, good enough to be able to work a little bit. So there we go. Okay, so let's just go for the first napkin. Okay. Now I have got my acetate here. It might not be necessary so much, but I will just squish this down with the acetate because it just does save me kind of touching the napkin and then risking tearing it like that. And to be honest, it also saves you getting quite so messy. So, and I'm already messy from another video that I've been doing earlier. So I'll just move that to one side and I'll just place this out of the way and then we'll just do another one. So what was I saying about getting messy? And straight away I'm mopping it up with my fingers. So yeah. Okay, we just go down there like that. Yeah, these napkins, don't they just call out for being done in a canvas? I don't know whether I'm the only person who thinks that, but as soon as I saw them, I thought, oh, they are perfect. So, yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a little while, and I thought, well, actually, we're revisiting the project, and I think this would be a brilliant opportunity to use them. So let's just put that on there. Again, just going with my acetate where I can really squash that down, making sure it's really nicely stuck onto that canvas. Okay. Okie dokie. Right, let's move that out the way. Oops, get rid of that out of the way. So let's move that, and I put this down on the floor, ready to go down with me when I go down and wash that brush, and hopefully remember to give it some conditioner. Okay, right. So this obviously is pretty wet at the moment, so I'm just going to dry them. Right, whilst I was drying, or after I finished drying, I just placed the paper dolls on here, and I think this is the first time ever, but I actually wasn't so keen on the paper dolls on these napkins. Yeah, I don't know why. I just expected them to look fantastic, and actually I'm not so sure that they did. I've dug out some metal bits and things like that to put on these canvases as well, so I'm just going to pop those to the side. But I've got my Edwardian lady, so I just cut her out, and I think she just, strangely enough, just looks a lot better on that canvas. Don't ask me why, but yeah, for some reason it just wasn't really kind of working for me with the paper dolls. So I wouldn't normally be so fussy as to cut out her armhole. But because this is going on a canvas rather than a journal page, I just feel like I should really. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to test out my knife skills. Let me put my glasses on. Right, fingers crossed, guys. So I probably should have done this off camera, because maybe I would have been less nervous and maybe made a better job of this, because my knife skills are not great. And I know that I've said before, I often would just actually cut her arm at a sort of convenient place. So for instance, on this, I would possibly cut on her armpit or on her elbow and cut that gap out, because by the time you glue that down and ink it, that join, you know, when you rejoin that area that you've cut, really isn't going to kind of show. So yeah, I would normally do that, but because it's a canvas, I feel I need to be a little bit more professional. Although as my craft knife, I could do with buying some more. As my craft knife's not really working, that thing has broken, you know, that stops it, you know, stops the blade kind of slipping back in. That's broken. So, and this was the last one from a 10 pack. I've had them for years, because I don't very often use the craft knife because I'm not great with it. Right, let's see how I've done. Pretty awful, I think. Oh my goodness. Okay. I mean, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to disguise some of this awful cutting. Oh my gosh, look at the state of that. That just looks terrible, doesn't it? Okay, right, let's just go back in. Yeah, I really must buy some more craft knives. So, okay. They're just not on my radar, because they're something I really, you know, avoid using if at all possible. When I go out, I just, you know, don't really think to pick up any more, to be honest. And it's literally such rare occasions that I would use one, you know, that it's not kind of, yeah, just not on my radar. Okay, so that looks okay. And then I've just got this little slither here, which, oh my goodness, because my blade's actually going in even more than it was before, which, you know, if at all possible. So hold on. Right, so I've actually managed to wedge it now, so hopefully it's going to be a bit better, because it's actually going to stay. So, okay. Oh, that's fantastic. I don't know quite what I actually managed to do, but I had tried getting it to stay previously lots of times, and it seemed to be broken, but perhaps I've kind of shimmied something into place, and anyway, it's now working, so that's fantastic. Okay, right. Okay, so it's a little bit tatty, but hopefully, you know, should be okay. So there we go. Right, let's take one of our canvases then, and let's just see if we can just tear this down. And then what I will probably do is just lightly sand around the edges to, you know, get rid of any sort of jaggedy, raggedy napkin edges. So we'll just go like that. Okay, put that in the bin. I have some sandpaper here in my little drawer beside me. I'll just tear off a very small piece to be able to do this. Okay. Okie dokie. And then just a little bit here. And then just a bit here. Come on, come on. Nearly done. Apologies if you hate that noise. I know some people are really not keen on that noise. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm keen on it, but you know, I don't really kind of hate it. So yeah, I apologise if you do. Right, there we go. Okay, let's get rid of those little bits of the sanded napkin. Okay, pop that to one side. So, do I want to put some gesso on this? Probably do, maybe especially down the bottom. So, I think what I'm going to do is actually do them both together. So, let's just quickly do this one as well. So, exactly the same, just going to tear it down and then just sand around the edge. So, like that. And then, you know, I'm just trying to be a bit more efficient and do all of the steps together. And I'm torn whether to kind of make a sort of similar pair. I mean, as you know, I don't really like kind of doing repeats. So that seems a little bit boring to do something really similar. Whether or not I can manage to, well, whether or not I can manage to pull this off at all is questionable. Whether or not I can manage to pull it off twice with two completely different kind of themes is even more questionable. So, yeah. But hey, it's all good fun. So, let's see what we can come up with. Okay. So, just a little bit more at the top. There we go. And again, let me just get rid of... Oh, look, there's a snapped piece off of my thingamajiggly there. My craft knife. So maybe that's the bit that snapped off that actually eventually then ended up helping. I don't know. Right, so I've got my brush here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of more gesso down there. And again, I know I talked about this recently, but I had seen Barbara on 49 Dragonflies, and she used water and said it was so much better for making the gesso sort of easier to work with. So I'm just going to go in with that as well. And actually I'm going to cover this up a little bit more because I'm not so keen on that stripy bottom. So we'll just try and disguise that quite a bit. Okay. Don't want to cover up the napkin completely because I absolutely love those napkins. But I'm just going to do a little bit at the top because, again, the way I kind of decoupaged that, I ended up with a bit of a stripy top bit as well. So just go like that. Okay. Okie dokie, so I'm going to just put that to one side to dry for a moment. Oops. Just trying to balance it on something on the desk. Okay, so again, this one we're just going to, again, just disguise in this stripe at the bottom really. Don't know why I'm always drawn to the right hand side. I don't know whether you noticed that, but I straight away did the, you know, the built up bit of the gesso to the right. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's because I'm right-handed, but instantly I'm drawn to kind of build up the right-hand side rather than... Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but anyway. Maybe we'll just do a little bit here as well. Okay. Okay, right, let me clear up the desk. Okay, so I've just dried these off and I'm getting messier by the second, but that's absolutely fine. I don't mind at all. And I've dug out my Inca Gold and also the Inca Gold, the silver one. And I've also dug out my distressing embossing glaze. I've got a stencil here, so I'm just going to take my stencil and I'm going to just stencil over, I think, on this one first of all. So which one? I think this one is my favourite, so I think I'm going to just go for this one. Now, I can't decide what to stencil in. I'm kind of thinking maybe some gold. Or I'm wondering whether I could use this antique copper, the patina. I haven't ever done that, obviously, on a stencil. I don't know how it would go. Shall we give it a try? Let's give it a try. Okay, right. Probably, again, not really doing what you're supposed to do with this stuff. Oops, I probably should have shaken that a little bit because it's not looking very thick, is it? It's looking very runny. Okay, fingers crossed that this is going to work. Okay. Perhaps I should try a bit of this on a bit of book page or something first, because thinking I don't want to spoil my napkin, you know, if it's an epic fail. So let's just try it here. Like that. Oops, lucky I tried it. Look, it's just a big splosh. Just a big splosh. So yeah, that was lucky that we tried it first, because that would not have been very successful at all. Okay, so having found that that did not work at all, I'm just going to try my Inca Gold instead, which I did kind of semi-try just a second ago, but not kind of enough to actually gauge whether it was working or not. So I thought, oh no, I must do that on camera, because there may be other people who are wondering, like me, whether it would work or not. So let's just have a look. Not brilliant. Yeah, it's definitely not brilliant. So let's clean that off. Okay. Oh, that doesn't want to come off, so that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? So it looks like I'm going to be back to paint. So let me just go and grab my gold paint. Okay, I have had a dig around. I have got this metallic paint. This is just acrylic. So I'm going to put a bit of that down. Now it's pretty bright, as you can see, but I've got these Perfect Pearls thingamajigglies. Don't know really what they are. Never really used these, or maybe I have a couple of times, but I thought, how about if I mix some of this, I might have way too much there, with that colour, in the hopes that that's going to tone it down and make a kind of more aged looking colour. Well, it doesn't really appear to be doing anything to that at all. So that's a bit annoying. Okay, well, hence why I still have these all completely unused, but let's just see how that looks. Just take some of that off so that it's not so thick when it's coming out. Let's just see how that goes. Okay, well, that's probably the best I'm going to get, to be honest. So I'm going to just go for that, and let me just dab this off again so that I'm starting at least with a cleaner stencil, because otherwise I'm going to have kind of it bleeding already. I'm so sorry for that banging. I know I've said this in lots of videos recently, but we're having our kitchen floor replaced because it's been, well, just really awful ever since it was laid. And yeah, obviously that's what all the banging is, so I do apologise. Right, okay, let's go in and hope for the best here. So I'm just going to go around like that. I mean, I'm not too worried if there's bits that are sort of patchy. I just want to get the rough effect. So yeah, they're getting noisier and noisier, so I do apologise. When I first started my video, they didn't seem quite so loud, but they're actually getting more and more noisy, so I do apologise. Okay. Right, fingers crossed. Here's for the big reveal. Woo! Oh, that looks... not sure. Yep, I'm not sure what I think to that, to be perfectly honest. Not loving it. Not loving it so far, but hopefully it will all come together in the end. So let me just clean my stencil off. Probably should be really good and go and wash it straight away, but of course I'm not going to do that. So let's just clean it off like that. Hope for the best. Okay, right, let me pop that out the way. And the paper. Right. Okay, yep, as I say, not loving it, but hey ho, it is what it is now. So we've got it there whether we like it or not. So let's take our lady, and I'm thinking we're going to distress her with the embossing glaze. So I think what I'm going to do first is just ink her up a little bit in one or two places. So for instance, where I did that shoddy cutting with the knife, just trying to disguise, you know, the bits and pieces that need disguising. Like that. Okay. Okie dokie. Now I have seen people do these amazing things where they just emboss glaze, like for instance, just her dress rather than the whole of her. We could do that. I don't know how she'd look then, whether her face would not really stand out. Oh, I think I'd best do the whole of her because, yeah, I'm wondering whether her face would then kind of be a bit lost. So let's just ink the whole of her up. So just using my Versamark, you know, very sticky kind of ink pad. Okay. And just pour this all over. Okie dokie. Right, let me lift her out with my pokey tool. Okay, I'm just going to now quickly emboss her with my heat tool. Okay, so I'm back. So she is now all glazed up, so looking good there. So of course now I want to darken up my canvas because it looks pretty bright in comparison, doesn't it? So let's just move her out the way. Okay, let's just ink this up like that. I do apologise as well if you can hear my daughter shouting. She's probably wanting to go in the kitchen to get something to eat, and of course we can't go in the kitchen. So yeah, it's all becoming a little bit of a nightmare. Right, just go around there. I'm really disappointed with that, you know, this, to be honest. I kind of regret doing that, but you know, it is what it is, so we'll just go with it now. And it's a little bit on the tacky side, so I don't dare actually ink over it for fear of smudging it. Okay, right, let me get my umbrellas because I'm thinking she would look good with an umbrella. Now I do have neutrals in the umbrellas, and I really have not hardly used the neutrals because of course I am always so drawn to colour. So yeah, it might be time to get a neutral coloured umbrella out. So, oops, do I have any in here? This might all be bright ones, you know. Oh no, I think this is all brights, would you believe? Didn't really want to have a bright one on there, although it looks kind of quite nice, to be honest. Oh, I'm not sure. Not sure. And I've also got my street names, which I thought might look quite nice with this. So I'm just going to ink this up. I'm actually thinking this would look quite good with the embossing glaze as well, funnily enough. So yeah, I might have to emboss glaze that one as well. Okay, I'll be back. Right then, I keep doing absolute U-turns, I have to say, because... mainly because I haven't got any of those neutral umbrellas and I can't be bothered to go downstairs and try and print them off. So yeah, I keep chopping and changing my mind now. So I'm going to take, I think, a clock piece from this. So this is my Brown Bunnies kit. and I thought this little clock face here with the butterfly on it would look super cute. So let's have a look and see. I mean, I've tried all sorts of things now, and I quite liked some things, but thought that possibly I would be the only person who did like them. So yeah, I thought let's try and be a little bit less risky. So fingers crossed that this is going to work. So, well, so much for doing 2 of these in this video. I think I would be lucky to get 1 done at this rate. I seem to have spent more time stopping the video than I have done actually doing the video. So yeah. Right, I've also got this little film strip, which I thought, well, this might look quite cute on there. So I'm just going to cut that down like that. Okay, I mean, I'm sure some of this, I'll just blame some other people, I'm sure some of this is due to all the banging and the workmen downstairs, because it's hard to stay focused then, isn't it? But yeah, let's blame them. It's not like they can hear me or anything, so yeah, let's just blame them. Oh, I quite like that. Yep. Okay, so I do quite like the film strip. That was definitely a good call, wasn't it? So yes. Okay, right, let's ink up a couple of these bits and pieces. I also dried off this, the paint here. So I should be able to now ink over that section there, which will be hopefully better. I mean, to be honest, I think what's happened, it's just literally, it's too, you know, lost in that background, to be honest. It just now looks, you know, you can't really see anything what it's meant to be, because actually the napkin, you know, rightly so, is kind of the star of the show. And, you know, that's how it should be, because it's absolutely gorgeous napkin. But yeah, I didn't really kind of bank on it looking quite so lost like that. So let's have a look. And I'm just wondering, perhaps we could have that behind her or something. I mean, again, I'm kind of thinking, unfortunately, that just looks like it's a little bit lost in there. I've also obviously inked up this, so oh, I think the dust's now beginning to dry my throat out now as well. I also have my black words, which I thought that was quite a nice little sentiment. I wonder whether I could do that in... Right, okay, I must now get sticking some of these things on, because otherwise I just fear I'm going to be here literally the whole day. So let's just get putting some bits down. So okie dokie. So I definitely loved this one here. Thought that looked really nice. Like that. Okay. Now I do really like that clock. My only issue is it blends in a little bit too much, unless I have her kind of here more. Let's just have a look. That might be better, kind of like that. Just because that clock then shows up a little bit better, which, you know, that's good, isn't it? So right, let's go for that. Okay. So just pop that down there. Again, let me just bring in my wipe. Just dab up the excess glue. Okay. Yeah, the dust is just terrible at the moment, so it's really drying my throat out. And obviously, you know, when you're kind of doing videos and chatting all the time anyway, your throat gets quite dry, so definitely. And it's not really helping because I can't get in the kitchen to make a drink. So I have managed to have a cup of tea earlier, but I don't want to keep on disturbing them or anything. So yes, I haven't had one now for quite a long time. I have got my water with me, but yeah, I could do with sort of a bit more bit more liquid, I think. Right, okay. So I'm just going to move that over slightly. So I quite like how that's looking now. So finally, and I'm just going to see how this would look if I actually separate it out. It may just get completely lost, but let's just trim down that end and that one. Let's just trim this down. Okay. Oops. I do quite like that. I wonder if I could slim that down even further. So let's just... Right. Whoa, come on. Yeah, I quite like that. So let's just get this one. I'll just have to then trim this at the bottom. My gosh, that's getting super fiddly. Which, as you know, is my least favourite thing, fiddly stuff. Okay. Yay, finally, finally. I'm kind of happy with how it's looking. My gosh, that took a long time, didn't it? Get in there. So I'm going to glue that sentiment down. Have I glued everything down now? I haven't glued her down yet, have I? Thinking I may have her slightly raised. Either with, you know, foam dots, but yeah, maybe, maybe I would just glue her with the hot glue, but not press her down too much, so she's got a bit of a raised kind of thing going on. Whoa, whoa, what's going on here? Ooh, look, tricky. Now I should have glued her down because now, of course, oh, that's okay. She's going to be over there a bit. Okay. Okay, and then this one here. Oh my goodness, this is so fiddly. I hate mucking about with such tiny things because now that they're obviously separated, they're super, super, super tiny. Okay. Yep, I like how that looks. Now, for her, do I want to kind of foam dot her, or shall we just hot glue her? I mean, probably the hot glue is probably fine. Going to have to be careful because I don't want to cover up that word down there. So yeah, it's probably better to cover up the clock a little bit rather than the word. Oh my goodness, look, it's still slipping around. Right. Okay, so let's get her glued down now. Okay, so I'm just going to get my hot glue. I'm going to put a new glue stick in just in case it kind of decides to fail me midway. Actually, do you know what? No, yeah, I am. Right, just ignore me. Right, oops, knocking everything flying on the side of my desk, so. Oh. Ooh. Okay, that was an accident waiting to happen, wasn't it? So I've now got hot glue all over my canvas. Hold on, let's see if I can just get it off. Oh my goodness. I mean, sometimes this hot glue, you're lucky, you know, and it will peel off, or kind of you can, you know, smoosh it off like this. Sometimes it just kind of spoils your project completely. So fingers crossed that this is coming off okay. Okay. Just got to get it off of this piece here. Okay, so I might have to redo the if you find yourself in the wrong story malarkey there, because it's not wanting to come off of that. So Right, let's peel these off again. Oh my goodness, this is suddenly turned into a how not to craft, hasn't it? Okay, let's just peel those off. Okay, and then I can get all of that hot glue off. Oh, that was very, very close shave and nearly wasn't able to save that at all, but luckily we just did. Okay, so she is now glued on there. She's glued on there, nothing else is now. Right, no. Let me bring my stuff back onto the desk that I just knocked off onto the floor. Okay. So what I need to do now is obviously just ink that again. Okay. Like that. I still haven't quite decided about this, you know, street name, which is why I've not glued it down yet. I think I will have it. Yeah, I think I will. Right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for another sentiment now because, of course, that one's no longer on there. So let me just bring in my... Right, we've got learning to dance in the rain. Right, okay, let's have this one. I know I've talked about this sentiment before, or, you know, quote or saying or whatever, but I really do love this. So, yeah, it's the one saying, we don't see things how they are, we see things how we are. And I just think that's such a brilliant quote. You know, I know I've talked about it before, but honestly, I just think it just explains so much, doesn't it? Now, that's not going to be the right shape for this. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Oh, isn't this annoying? Because now it looks really super horrible, super messy. Really not good at all. Oh dear. Let me just wipe this up with the wipe and try and clean some of that mess up. So because obviously the ink now has kind of stuck to the wet glue rather than the hot glue, the wet glue. So it's just not looking good. There we go. Right, that looks a bit better. So let me just wipe it a little bit more and we just ink that a bit more. Right, okay, let's have a look. So I'm thinking we would have to snip it there. Okay, right, let's cut this down here. So that would have to go there. There. Oh, come on. Oh my goodness, that's so fiddly. And this was my worst bit, wasn't it? Sticking these words on, and now I've got to do it all again. Okay. Yay! Right, okay, I'm going to just go for those, because to be honest, I'm losing the will to live. Keep on mucking about, so let's just go for those, right? Oh, we were very, or I was very lucky that I managed to peel those off okay, because that was nearly a kind of, oh my goodness, can't load the video. Can't upload the video moment, and we'll have to do the whole video back, you know, again. It was almost so disastrous. So, yeah, lucky. Very, very lucky. Oh my goodness. Right, that's that one. Squish that down. Right. Okie dokie. Sorry, I'm just being really, really rubbish and just dabbing that on my hand to get the excess glue away. I just have to do things now in the method that works because, my gosh, I don't want any more accidents during the course of making this. Okay, and then we're going to just have this one. Okay, and then we're finally going to have this one. So Okay, I think I'm going to have to actually stop this and, or, you know, not stop it now, but when I stop this, I think I'm going to actually have to drive to our local Costa to get a hot chocolate, because obviously I can't really go in the kitchen and I'm now super thirsty. So I'm now blaming that for my mishaps that are happening now. So yeah, I'm going to have to go and do that, I think, in a moment, because I'm super thirsty. Right, I did also bring these little metal charms along because I thought, oh, let's do something with some metal charms. And of course, I haven't now incorporated those either. So, but what I would like to do is just go around the edge a bit with that colour. That hopefully will kind of, you know, bring everything together. And, you know, just highlight that colour that's now in the middle. So okay, around there and around there. Okay, so that looks much, much better now. Okay, right, I'm going to just literally stick this on. Over there. Again, I did just put a new hot glue stick in my glue gun, so I want this again kind of raised, so I'm just going to pop it on there like that, but not press it too hard, so hopefully it's still got that raised effect going on. Yeah, I like that. Right, now with my metal charms, that was the last thing that I thought would be nice. So I've got one of those Tim Holtz little bits saying believe. I can't help but believe that that's a little bit too big on there. I've got a clock, which might be quite nice because we've got the clock up here, so I might have to put that somewhere. I've also got a key, so we could just kind of have the key somewhere too. Yeah, I quite like how that looks. So I'm just going to stick the clock, whoops, stick the clock down. I'm just going to use my hot glue, push that down there like that, and then this one here, I mean, do we think that that key's all right there, or does it just blend in too much? I know, sorry, I'm probably driving everyone potty, and you probably all just think, oh, for goodness sake, just stick it down and finish the piece. I agree. Okay, let's just pop that down. Okie dokie. So I might come back. Oh, there goes the hot glue gun again. I might come back in a couple of weeks. You'll be pleased to know. To finish the other one. Of course, I will be uploading videos in the meantime, but I just mean, oh, I might come back and actually finish off the other one because, you know, it was my intention to do too. So, yeah, I might do that. So that's my little canvas. And, yeah, I mean, it took a long time getting there, didn't it? But hopefully you like it. Oops, sorry, my camera is now saying low battery mode. So even the you know, phone has lost the will to live now. So yeah, I hope that you like it. I mean, it took me a long time to get there, but I really like how it's turned out. So yeah, I hope that you like it. Maybe it's inspired you a little bit as well. And thank you so much for watching. Obviously I'll be back, you know, with other videos, but as I say, maybe in a couple of weeks I will do another video with the other canvas that we kind of started prepping, and you know, do that to finish that off. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and continuing to watch if you did. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks then. Bye.